Hi, in this video I'm going to be talking to you all about how I create my paintings on canvas. I'm going to walk you through the processes that I use, the supplies that I use, and in what order I do them. Before I even take the canvas out, I am looking at creating my source photo. I always want to move into my painting with a direction that is just personally how I like to work creatively. I like to have a plan in place, a direction. I'm not so much of an artist who can kind of do it in the moment and all that kind of thing. Wish I could, but I'm not, but that's okay. So work to our strengths, right? So yes, I have my source photo in place, so I have a really good direction of where I'm going. And I also have my source photo in place because with my canvas pieces, I like to project my image onto my canvas and draw in my main subjects and main structures on my canvas. I choose to project my images onto my canvas. To be completely honest with you, I just can't be bothered with the drawing process. It takes too long and it's frustrating and it's just like really unenjoyable for me. So I prefer to jump to what I enjoy the most and keep my artistic process enjoyable. That is exactly why we like to create, because it brings us joy and it's inspiring to us and it lights us up. Number one, as I get my canvas out. Number two is I project my image onto my canvas and get in the main focal points, the proportions, and everything kind of like the bones of the structure of my painting. I get that all in there. I don't go too detailed with the projector, literally just the lines of the shapes and the proportions, so I've got all that right. So I'm starting off on a really good foot, setting myself up for success. Once I have my drawing in place, now I go through and do some collage. I really love collage. I think it's a really great thing to add into your painting if collage is your thing. It's not everybody's thing, and that's completely fine, but I find that it really adds to my work. It really gives it this sense of dimension and these beautiful hidden little treasures that people can find when they're looking at the piece up close, and also from far away as well. It gets like a beautiful sense of depth. There's some magic to it. I put my collage down on the canvas with this Liquitex matte medium. So this is the glue that I adhere the collage onto my canvas with, and I apply that with this catalyst tool. I mean, you don't really need a catalyst tool. Before I had a catalyst tool, I was just using, a loyalty card, like a bank card, but not a bank card. Probably don't use your bank card. Just like a loyalty card that you don't really use so much anymore, and it works the same. Once I have applied my collage onto my canvas, I then go over the edges of the collage and also in other parts of the canvas itself with modeling paste. So this is the modeling paste that I use, and I apply that also with this handy dandy catalyst tool or your loyalty card, and I apply that to the edges of the collage and around the whole painting, really, to give it a bit of texture as well. It gives it a bit of something visually and like physically. Now once that's completely dry, I then move on to starting my underpainting. So in this section, I'm watering the canvas down and I'm applying inks, and I'm doing acrylic washes, and I'm doing expressive mark making and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm kind of letting loose. This is where I be free and just kind of like do whatever. And for the most part, what I'm using is transparent. I try and stick to transparent inks and washes and stuff like that to make sure that I can still see my drawing. Although I can obviously go back and redraw it in if I need to, I tend to like to keep that drawing somewhat visible, even if I need a little bit, because that's just, I need it there. I'm just one of those people that need to see it there. So in the underpainting stage, I'm working with ink. So the inks that I choose to use, I use a lot of Liquitex acrylic inks, and I do tend to go towards the transparent versions, like I said, so that everything's kind of transparent and I can still see my drawing and you can still see the collage and everything is still showing through, but we're just adding beautiful layers. So acrylic inks, I have a variety of acrylic inks that I use. As for the acrylic washes, so I'm using transparent paint for the most part. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's semi-transparent and I just kind of like really water it down so you can still see through it. So with my acrylic washes, I try and keep most of my paint transparent or semi-transparent. No opaques. Not at this point. I'm not doing any opaques at this point. Everything is transparent as I can, and that is just so that I'm building these beautiful expressive layers and expressive marks and drips and drops and everything like that to create interest, but I'm not covering up my collage and I'm not covering up, you know, previous ink drips and whatnot. A big thing that I do throughout this underpainting process is I'm constantly stopping and I'm drying my artwork. And this is so that, like, even at this early stage, I'm creating really beautiful transparent layers. I don't want everything to be mixed into each other, and so I make a real effort of, I do my inks and then I'll stop and let them dry, and then I'll do my acrylic washes and I'll dry it with a hairdryer. And then like, even like by color, like I'll do, say, a magenta wash and I'll stop and I'll dry that before I go and come in with, say, a pink. Even though it's the same color family, I just like to keep my colors as rich and as clean as I possibly can, and this is how I have learnt to do that. So as for acrylic paint that I use, this is I don't actually know how to say it. 8 layer. Anyway, so I use their brand at the moment, and I am moving into other brands as I move along through my artistic journey. I have a few extra fine acrylics by Charbon, which I'm really liking the Charbon brand, and I'm also getting in a few golden paints as well. So I'm not a snob to any particular brand. I'm trying my best to, as I move along in my artistic journey, to buy more quality products and just get in a variety of different brands and see what I like the most. For the mark making, sometimes at the underpainting stage, I will come in with some markers and I will do some kind of like coloring in, I guess, like roughly on the actual subject of my painting, just to get in some marks really, and to make it get a bit more some expressive movement going on. In this painting here, I did that initially with the birds. This is black marker that has come through right until the end. It's had a few glazes put on top, but it's still there through the end. This bird here, I had used some of these Posca pen markers in the initial stages to start forming the bird through my underpainting stage. Other mark making tools that I like to use other than Posca pens, for the black I have this, which is what I used on this bird and a couple of the other marks throughout this painting. This is by Faber-Castell. It's just a Pitt Artist Pen Soft Chisel Black. So it's just a waterproof marker. I always use waterproof if I can at this stage because I'm not a lover of fixing everything. But, you know, if you want to use something that is water soluble or is going to move when you start to do your more painting layers, then do fix it. Other than the Posca pens and that Faber-Castell pen, I also use the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 1. I have a couple of these and a couple of different colors. So these are the ones that aren't water soluble, so they're not going to move. But I also have the other, I'll get it. I also have the Neocolor 2 Caran d'Ache crayons. I have this little set here. So these ones are water soluble, so they are going to move, so you'll have to fix these. More recently, I have got these Prismacolor pencils that I have also used in my paintings at all sorts of stages throughout. not just the underpainting. And for example, I used the Prismacolor pencils. I have used the Prismacolor pencils to do a little bit of detail on this kind of abstract butterfly in the background here. It just adds another texture, another visual texture, just something different other than paint and other than marker. It's just something different. So as I am building my underpainting, I am constantly using the method of glazing. If you've done any of my classes, you know how much I'm a fan of glazing. I think it is just the best thing ever. I find it very magical, and it really allows you to create multiple of layers, especially when you want to glaze with transparents, because it creates this depth, this really beautiful depth, and like the stained glass look, which I find really beautiful. So for my glazing, I have this 8-layer clear painting medium that I use. So as I said, I use that all the way through my process, from the underpainting and the middle stages and at the end as well when I'm in acrylics. If I do move to oils, obviously I'm not using that anymore. I'm using the oil equivalent. But throughout your whole mixed media acrylic stage, go for this all the time. I go for this all the time. Constantly glazing. Glazing, 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 glazing. Honestly, it makes such a difference. Then I move into my blocking in stage, where I am kind of, starting to create the structure of my focal point and the subjects within my paintings. I'm going for the mid-tones. I go mid-tones first. Like I kind of do the blanket color, and then I go to the darks, and then I come through and make it lighter and lighter and lighter through to the highlights. All the while I'm working on my main subjects and the subjects within the painting. I'm also working on my background simultaneously. I keep moving the whole painting forward together. So of course you want your focal point and your subjects to be in front of the background, but once you have that main layer of your background down, then you put your focal point on, and then you move the background and the focal point together until the end, and then you really pop those highlights on your focal point to make it really stand out. I think my main thing that I focus on in creating my paintings is layers. I work in a lot of layers. The more layers, the better. You can create so much more depth in your painting with layers, and layers over the whole, glaze over the whole painting, and then bring pops of things forward, and then glaze a little bit here, and then do some more expressive marks over here, or bring the form forward here, and then glaze that little bit here, and glaze that little bit here, and then bring some more forward and glaze that little corner, and then that bit there. The layers honestly make such a difference when you're creating a successful, more interesting, more sophisticated looking painting. Biggest tip. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and it has allowed you a little insight into how I create my art pieces. Some of this you might like to adopt for yourself, or some of this you are already doing. As for more how-tos, I have created a subscription on my website called the Creatives Membership, and in there I'm doing real-time videos on painting sessions. I'm doing how-to, like how I do my collage, how I do my glazing, and all that kind of stuff. Also, I'm doing a monthly critique, whether that's critiques on my work in progresses or finished pieces, or members of the Creative Membership who have put forward their paintings for us all to have a look at and learn from. It's a growing space. It is reasonably new, but it is ever evolving. I'm going to be adding content monthly. Every month at the beginning of the month will be new videos for you to consume and be inspired by. It is super affordable at $7.99 New Zealand per month, so it's a really small price, and the more you stick around, the more videos you're going to get, and it's in a really affordable way to be inspired, to learn new things, to learn how to do things that you do now already, perhaps differently. So if you're interested in that, I will pop the link below in the description. If you really enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more content from me, I plan on doing actual tutorials, painting tutorials within my channel as well in the future, and also videos like this, sharing about processes and insights and knowledge, anything art related. So if you love to be around for that, then I would love you so much to just subscribe to my channel and like the videos that you like, and to like the videos that you align with. Thanks for watching.